place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. In case you're wondering, or for those of you who are joining us for the first time for the week, we are on the outside. Yes, we are at the Milford Road Esplanade here in downtown Scarborough, Tobago, and our lovely set is sponsored by Courts Furniture Store. You can find them on the ground floor of the Port Mall or at the Lowlands Mall, so check them out and see what is happening there. We are going to begin our conversation this morning, and our first guest is in our outdoor studio this morning. We're speaking with Dr. Faith Brebnor. She's the Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and she's here this morning. We're going to have a very, very important conversation. You might have heard about a new strain virus called the HMPV. We're going to find out exactly what that means and what does it mean for us here in the local space, Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And it's wonderful being outside this morning.
Yeah.
I like this setup. I really do like this setup.
Yes, and we've been enjoying our time out here. In fact, we've been asking persons to come outside, take a jog, take a stroll, breathe in the morning fresh air. And of course, as a doctor, you would see all the benefits where that is concerned. So I understand why you enjoy that. So we want to get into the conversation. You know, we've been hearing that there's a new strain virus called the HMPV. For those of us who don't know what that means, can you explain to us what this means?
Certainly. So let's start with the fact that this is not new. And I want to highlight the fact that we have been, I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I'm here to bring clarity to something that is quite common. As a matter of fact, the fact that I am here having to have this conversation is kind of testament to the idea of people running with information when they don't really have information. It's equivalent to asking somebody like me who don't know nothing about construction and engineering to build your house. Don't do that. So having a public health background, so my doctoral degree is in public health, not medicine, just one quick correction there. I thought it important to come and clear the air. One is not a new virus, Tobago. It's not. We discovered it, as in the medical community discovered it since 2000, and it's been around 2001 is when the official thing was identified, and it's better known. So the HMPV is human, H, meta, pneumo virus. And what is that? You see, when you say, as my mother says, children always have a common cold. Children knows always running. They're always coughing. They're always looking sick around a particular time. More than likely, it is this virus that they have. So it is really, really common. It is so common to the point that we don't even really test for it because it's one of the many virus that causes respiratory infections. And when I say many, there are really many. And there is really almost no point in wasting your resources to try to pinpoint that it is exactly this virus that's causing the problem. Because it's really the common cold.
So what exactly, because there is a scare, and I think you spoke to it initially in terms of not really knowing, and so you're making assumptions. There is a scare, there's a panic in the atmosphere. In fact, you saw somewhere on social media that the first case was reported in a hospital in Trinidad, right? And people, of course, are panicking, oh my goodness, likening it to COVID-19. So let's break that down.
So I think the scare is happening because we experienced COVID. We experienced COVID in a time when we have social media, and we had social media that allowed us to give amplified sound or amplified voices to people who didn't know what they were talking about. So remember around COVID, we had all kind of people talking all kind of thing. I remember this one guy, for example, did a video after he claimed to have taken the vaccine, did a video and put a light bulb on the hand, and then you realize, no, it's not the vaccine that causing the light bulb to light. It's just a regular emergency light that when you push it against a surface, it lights. But because of during COVID, so many people spoke about so many things, so many people said so many things that were frightening, and the world really changed during that period. We are kind of on high alert and we are anxious because we don't want to experience COVID again. So any little thing that we think would take us back to that causes us to exaggerate. And to be honest, there are quite a lot of people who are out there in internet land who are just mischievous, because a lot of the videos that you see circulating that show in China practically dropped down dead. You know, if you look back, I'm sure if you search, those were probably footage from some movie or, you know, something like that. And, you know, you talked about the case that was identified. So, yes, we understand that there may have been a case that was identified, but it's really because for some reason they tested that person. But it's not even common to test for that because it is just so common.
So we don't need to be in a panic. We don't need to be in a tizzy. We just basically need to take personal responsibility for our health, and that's where I want the conversation to go now. How do we as humans, as people in communities and society and in public spaces, how do we take care of ourselves to ensure that we don't fall victim to any virus that might be going around, or if we do end up with a virus, how do we protect ourselves and the persons around us?
Certainly. So we are going back to, in essence, the same things we've been talking about around COVID time. Your hands. Remember, before you go into anywhere, you're washing your hands, sanitizing your hand. Why is that the case? Because usually when we are sick, we cough, we sneeze, we rub our eyes because the eyes itchy a little bit. And usually all of that happens to your hands. What does that mean? The virus that's inside of you is now on your hand. What do you need to do? Wash it off of your hand. Soap and water literally kills the virus. Alcohol kills the virus. So you're going back to washing your hands. Don't play nasty. Don't be nasty, people. Wash your hands. If you're trying not to put your hands by your mouth, your eyes, your nose, because that is where we transfer it from. So for example, somebody sneezes, you've been in front of a baby that sneezes, you feel all of it. Yeah? In those droplets are where the virus would get transmitted from that person to the other person here. So somebody sneezed, it got onto the table, it got onto their hand, it got onto a doorknob, you touch the doorknob, it comes onto your hand, you put your hand by your eye, you've now infected yourself. So stop touching your face. Stop touching your face with your dirty hand. Yeah? If you recognize that you have a cough, you are sneezing, you feel like you kind of have a cold, cover yourself, cover your mouth. So we go back to masking if you wish. I see people walking around with masks because they are feeling cold. They're feeling like they have a little flu, like they have a little cold. They know that they are sneezing, so they are protecting themselves and they are protecting others as well. Keep your mouth covered. Cough into the crook of your elbow. So that you may not have something a tissue or something to cough into. Instead of just coughing and having it just go into the air, put it in here, and then, you know, you could clear that and sanitize that after. So these are the things that we've been telling people all along, and it's the same things we're telling you again to do this time.
I know, and you really do have to be very aware, because sometimes we take things for granted and we just, you know, I just hanging out and I rest my hand on this chair and, you know, I want to rub my nose and my hand goes to the nose. In terms of the public education aspect of it, especially for the school children, because as you mentioned, your mom always says that children always have the cold, they always have some virus, which is true. And for me, I find their resilience much higher than ours. I don't know if it's scientifically proven, I can't respond to that, but for some reason they just get over it faster than us. Is there any plan for public education to roll out so that people can be more aware, the awareness can be heightened, so they know the do's and the don'ts? You know, we did a lot of that for COVID. Is it something that is planned to take place, and is it something that we're going to continue doing throughout the year?
So it's something that we've been doing. So we are basically in what we now classify as the cold and flu season. There's a part, you know, there are just a couple months where we seem to get more cold and flus. Our public health department have been doing a good job. particularly the office of the CMOH, which includes a health education unit, has actually been doing this. They've been going around, going to school. So this is not something that we get up January morning and realize, oh my God, we need to do something. We have had competitions, for example, in schools where you have to make a video showing how to wash your hands with the preschoolers and the primary schoolers. It is that kind of thing that we've been doing throughout the year that continually reinforce these simple preventative mechanisms that, again, very, very simple. Wash your hand, cover your cough. Those are simple things are what we've been continuing to repeat at every stage.
You know, this is absolutely amazing that we have the clarification about the HMPV. We understand now that is a common virus. I might have had it before, you might have had it before, unknown. It is not.
As a matter of fact, when you look at the statistics, it's so common that we have all had it at some point. The fact that we are at this age, we've all had it at some point.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So it's nothing to be alarmed about, but the responsibility is yours to take care of yourself, take your vitamins, wash your hands, keep your environment as clean as possible, and be responsible. If you have a sniffle, if you have a cough, try not to be around people, or as Dr. Faith said, to cough in the crook of your arm instead of just coughing it out and having those droplets in the atmosphere and possibly landing on someone who can also contract a virus. We don't want these things happening. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Certainly. I want to say though, so for the vast majority of people, it's really just mild symptoms. There are a few people though who the symptoms get a little bit more than mild. This particular virus are usually, children are usually the ones who get it more than adults. Of course, adults get it as well. If you recognize though that you have a child and the child seems to be having a challenge breathing, so you're seeing them having difficulty breathing, you're seeing them with their lungs, you know, it looks like, you know, when you see the belly raising and falling and they seem to be really
struggling,
uncomfortable and they are struggling, definitely seek medical attention, because it means that the pneumonia part of it, the affecting of your lungs part of it, is actually further than the normal mild symptoms, and that is where you need to be concerned. So if you have a child or anybody who has those kinds of symptoms and it seems like they're really struggling to breathe in particular, get yourself to a health facility, because it means you need a little help getting over the viral infection.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Faith, for coming this morning, explaining this, bringing clarity, and of course giving us tips as to how to keep ourselves safe from viruses, and if we do come into contact with one, what to do.
Certainly.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We've been speaking with Dr. Faith Brebnor, Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and Assemblyman as well. Let me not forget to put that part in, bringing us information about the virus HMPV and the effects of it, and how you can protect yourself from any virus, how you can keep yourself safe, your environment safe, and the persons around you. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations, and we do hope that you can stay with us. And as you stay, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.